Hi, I'm Dave Zimmerman, and I work with executors, administrators, trustees, and estate attorneys, helping them manage the sale of probate and inherited properties across Northern Virginia. Well, one of the first things that often surprises families is that the person who inherits the property is not always the person who has the authority to sell it. So, let's walk through how this typically works. The role of the executor. Well, in many probate situations, the person with the authority to manage the property is the executor. The executor is the individual named in the will who is responsible for carrying out the instructions of the estate. This is a testate estate. Their role includes managing the estate assets, paying the debts, coordinating with all the attorneys, and in many cases, overseeing the sale of the real estate. Even if there are several heirs in the will, ultimately, and they inherit the proceeds, the executor is usually the one responsible for handling the process. When there is no will, sometimes the person passes away without a will. Well, this is an intestate estate. In this situation, the probate court typically appoints an administrator. An administrator performs a role very similar to an executor. They are responsible for managing the estate, handling the assets, and coordinating the sale of the property when necessary. This is why you'll often hear the term executor and administrator used when discussing probate and estate property sales. Number 3, another situation that creates confusion is when multiple heirs inherit the same property. Families often assume that everyone must make decisions together. Well, while the heirs certainly have an interest in the estate, the authority to manage the process usually still rests on the executor or the administrator. Their job is to act in the best interest of the estate and follow the legal framework established throughout the probate process. Section 4, Court Oversight. Well, depending on how the probate is structured, the court may also play a role in approving the sale of the property. In some cases, the executor has broad authority to sell. In other cases, the court may require additional steps and approvals before the transaction is finalized. This is one reason probate real estate sales can sometimes take longer than the traditional home sale. Number 5, why clarity matters. Well, understanding who has the authority early in the process helps avoid confusion and delays. It allows the executor, the attorney, and the real estate professional to work together efficiently and keep the process moving forward. Without that clarity, families sometimes find themselves unsure of who should be making decisions, which can slow everything down. Well, every probate situation is unique, but understanding the roles involved is one of the first steps towards successfully navigating a probate property sale. Well, here on this channel, I share insights and guidance to help families, executors, and estate professionals better understand the real estate side of probate property sales.